the Cougs from Wazoo. Jim Watson along with Heather Cox. Let's take a look at the visitors from Berkeley. And here, she's starting 6.
And we talked about the youth, also the injuries. Well, you see 6 players in the starting lineup. There's just 2 on the bench to help out at all. Candace McNamee quarterbacking the team, just a freshman. So again, a very young squad and very thin as well.
Lee Mays has been the head coach at Cal for just 28 days, taking over for Sue Woodstra, who resigned back on October 2nd. Lee also coaches the men's team, which runners-up in the National Club Team Championship last year. Washington State's a little bit more experienced, but missing their top player, Jennifer Stinson.
They will sorely miss her. Wendy Rouse filling in the middle. Kim Clavin getting the start as the DS. Joyce Berry, a transfer Blackshire freshman, Spink, the setter.
Cindy Frederick, her 10th year at Wazoo. She's won 192 matches, 14 years as a head coach. That win total swells to 278. We are about set at Beasley on the sport court. It's a little different look for the Cougars. Normally they play in the old barn on campus, Bowler Gym, but that's being refurbished. And we're underway. California, of course, in the blue and gold. Right side of your screen, and Wazoo in the home whites, and a side out early for Cal.
And 9 blue is going to be so important for Cal. Alicia Perry did not play this week against Sac State, bothered by a lower shin problem due to a broken leg earlier in high school. She might not be able to play the duration of this match.
Washington State side out, right back at you. Samantha Spink.
Playing just her 2nd year for Wazoo, a transfer from Penn State, so has a lot of experience relishing that starting role this year.
Joyce Berry now to serve for the Cougs. Back set goes a little bit awry, so California forced just to take it across. Missy Blackshire.
Well, there's one of the freshmen, of the 17 freshmen starting in the Pac-10 this season, a local player out of Spokane, and she's got a heavy shoulder, putting up some good numbers. Blackshire
getting some extended time because of her play, because of some injuries. Coming right back at you, Alicia Perry, the sophomore from Cal.
Alicia Perry has a deadly serve. In fact, had 5 aces against USC. She has a jumper, but I think with the very short sport court, she sticks with a floater.
Good dig on the back row. Sarah Waltman for Cal with the defense. We've seen it on both sides of the net early on. Blackshire again.
What a hammer. Well, you can see why she was the Washington State High School Player of the Year and a Fab 50 selection. One of the top 50 recruits in the country last year as a high school senior. Just hammers it down the line.
Cougars up 1-0. The short set inside as they go to Kelly Meyer. Off the hands on the back row for the side out and substitutions. Marina Pardawala now comes in for California, and substitutions something we want to keep an eye on for California because they just don't have that many players on the bench.
Especially considering the only 2 subs they have are back row players. So if a front row player is to go down, there's nothing they can do. And so all 3 front row players in each rotation have to have a good night.
Meyer's serve catches the tape. And Winnie Rouse now to serve for Washington State. The pass carries into the net. A good play there. Alicia Erickson for Washington State.
And the Cougs have always been known as a very strong net team, both blocking and offensively. Cindy Frederick likes to recruit big players at the net. That'll be a huge advantage, especially for Cal, who doesn't have a lot of height in the front row.
Erickson goes 6'4", a freshman as well. Cougars in the nets. It's a violation. Ball goes over to the California Golden Bears. And yet to score 2-0 Cougs. First game, and here's Candace McNamee. Another freshman. Triple block at the net by Cal. Blackshire was tipped at the net. McNamee. The back set to Alva, and it's turned back. Well, that's what big players do for you.
And Blackshire is just having a career night already. Early on, playing great. Nice movement to the outside. No seam in that block. Following a great McNamee set. That's got to be very frustrating for Cal.
Washington State looks very strong defensively at the outset. Berry out of the back row, tries to paint the back line, and she does. is still yet to score. Perry drops one in over the block.
And I love it. We're sitting right next to Lee Mays, the interim head coach for Cal, and he is so vocal. Right there, you heard him off the bench yelling high line, really calling out the open shots for Alicia Perry, who's battling an injury, doesn't have time to see the court, and has a lot of help from her coach on that play.
Perry tries to build a wall. Good dig by McNamee. But a miss hit right there as she tries to go deep in the right corner.
And when you're a young Cal team with so little depth, to win this match, you have to be consistent. You have to keep the ball in play and force the Cougs to make the mistakes. So on a free ball situation like that, you need to get the ball in bounds.
Lucy Vrechnikova serving for Washington State. Oh, cross-court cut there by Perry. Very thin.
And you start to begin to wonder, already in game one, Alicia Perry has been so instrumental. You start to think, what if they didn't have her to play front row? They didn't have her Tuesday against Sac State.
Sarah Waltman, a senior, and that's news for Cal because she's the only one. Erickson puts one down for the Cougars, earns the side out back.
Erickson so quick with the lateral movement. We saw that before on the block, and now she's showing her quick footwork going behind the setter. Very versatile hitter for just a freshman.
Kim Clevens serving for Washington State. McNamee for Cal. The back set, the good one to Kelly Meyer.
So both setters battling, going behind them with those slide attacks. The key to blocking a slide, the left side blocker cannot drift. She has to go straight up and turn that left hand in.
Kelly Alba serving. Alba, pretty good server. 3 aces in her last match. Pumping one down, Wendy Rouse.
Wendy Rouse, who just rotated into the front row, playing in that middle position. So important for the setter, Samantha Speak, to go to her early, really establish confidence in her as a middle attacker, also opens up the outside.
Meyer, good block at the nets.
How
Wendy
about
Rouse
that?
was there, Missy Blackshire also.
Talking to Cindy Frederick, she said the one thing moving Wendy to the middle is she doesn't have the quick footwork because she hasn't been training as a middle blocker, but right off the bat, a step block.
Perry, down the line too long. Point Washington State, it is 4-1.
Alicia Perry has been the go-to player for Candace McNamee.
Sperry, the drop serve and an ace. And a quick timeout. Lee Mays tries to quiet down the home folks. They always make a lot of noise on the Palouse, and they have reason to right now. The Cougars up 5-1 in game one. We are coming back. Sit down with Lee Mays, the new coach at Cal. We talked with him about his concerns and about his keys tonight.
The biggest thing that we need to do is make sure we take care of our own side of the net, focusing on making sure we have solid ball control, serve extremely well, and take advantage of any opportunities that we do get. Washington State's a very big team. They're going to play well, especially in front of their home crowd, and we need to make sure we go out there and just give ourselves most opportunities to be successful.
Well, they tried to give themselves an opportunity right there, but Samantha Spink would have none of it, the block for Washington State.
And if Cal is going to be successful in this match, it won't be one at the net. It'll be one with the ball control, like Lee said. Also, this team is #1 in the conference in service aces per game, so they'll have to win it in the backcourt.
McNamee has been going to Perry almost exclusively. That ball blocked at the net. Perry shovels it back up, and Washington State finds the open spot. It's Wendy Rouse.
When you talk to going to Perry exclusively, she has 6 attacks right now. Nobody else has more than 2. But if you look at Washington State, much more diversity going to Blackshire, Rouse, and Erickson.
McNamee touches the net.
I like the aggressiveness, though. I think that's so important for McNamee on a tight set to be an attacker, be that 4th attacker in this offense.
McNamee just a freshman, but already 9th on Cal's all-time assist list. But that all comes with experience. Washington State 8-1 in game one.
We're back. You can have the hair you need today, whether you're
off to a very quick start. Cindy Frederick. in the Halloween spirit with pumpkin earrings, and she has been treated to a fast start by the Cougars, 8-1.
In fact, she was even more spirited early today. Rumor has it at practice, pass and serve, she showed up with a red clown wig dressed as Bozo the Clown. Her players loved it. She's a little bit mellower now. I also saw her with a bunny nose around her nose earlier before the match. Well, that tells it all right there. 47%. The Cougs can just dominate at the net, and they're doing it right now.
Sperry to serve for Washington State. You would have to think that the message from Cindy Frederick and the Cougar staff was, well, Cal's a team that's down right now, maybe doubting themselves a little bit. Let's jump on them early and get this thing over with.
Definitely. They are a team that want to be 3 and out. Every weekend in the Pac-10 is a very tough weekend. They play Stanford here on Sunday, so they want to get out of here as quickly as possible, and that means a quick start.
Rouse again in the middle. And Rouse really hangs in the air a long time and takes that arm way back.
Well, she's got such a long reach. You see how long her arms are, and she's got a 6'3" frame, so there's a huge target for Samantha Speak to find, which makes it much easier on the quick sets. That's the 31. The timing has to be perfect, and if you've got a long target, it makes it much easier.
Spink to serve with the left, the floater, and that can cause a lot of problems. McNamee. Cross court to Linda Johansson.
Johansson had wide open line. That time Smith a little bit slow to get to the outside and close the antenna.
Spink from Coeur d'Alene. Beautiful country, Coeur d'Alene. Out there with my golf clubs a couple times. Perry this time from the right side. Blackshire just firing missiles for Wazoo. A little joust at the net. McNamee punches it back across. And pass is going to carry too long. McNamee again playing tough at the net.
Perfectly executed. That is such a hard play when the ball is traveling over your shoulder to go over the net. Watch McNamee. She finds the hitter and then the ball rather than watching the ball only and being late to block. Cal playing some great defense in that last rally.
Well, they need to. Down 9-1 right now. And McNamee, maybe your eyes just a little too big on that one. Saw a lot of open court.
And Cal plagued early by hitting errors. Right now, 8 kills and 7 hitting errors, so just hovering around 0.
Wendy Rouse now to serve, and we've been talking about all the freshmen. Wendy Rouse, of course, is the flip side of that, a 5th-year senior. Johansson, block at the net. Washington State is huge up front right now. Erickson is 6'4". Colleen Smith goes 6'6" at the net for Washington State, but still, Cal manages to get the ball on the floor.
How about that? Linda Johansson at just 6'0", a freshman out of Sweden, blocks the 6'6" Smith. Johansson, another one that's injured, bothered by a disc problem in her back, did not play in the match this week.
Is there a bigger front line in the country than 6'4" and 6'6"?
I don't think so. That's pretty intimidating.
Drop shot right in the middle. Alicia Erickson, 6'4" freshman.
Alicia Erickson, early on in her young career, already knows that she likes to play against Cal. Hit 500 earlier down in Northern California, and this time finds the wide open court.
Service error. Missy Blackshire, and so goes over to California, but they have their work cut out. It seems like everything is going against California these days. Change of coaches, injuries. They had trouble getting here. We'll talk more about their trip. Events on the road. And a slow start tonight. Joy Sperry, the side out now for the Cougs. And Colleen Smith, a 6'6" sophomore.
And not the biggest player in the country, but certainly one of them, and the tallest player in the Pac-10 this year.
Rouse able to punch that one up from the back row. Perry. Perry again goes cross court, and that was a good play by Joy Sperry. Rolled on the deck to keep it alive. That's set just a little bit low. Carried into the net.
And drew the Washington State block into the net, actually, so Cal getting the side out. Well, we see a lot of substitutions, but they're the same players coming in, coming out. Back row for front row.
And that's going to repeat itself all night long. Sarah Waltman, the senior, back in, back row to serve. Spink goes cross court, Sperry. Sperry again, double block. It goes off the hands of Kelly Alvin, out of bounds.
Well, Cindy Frederick has always made it a policy not to recruit from the junior colleges, but she had success once with Lucy Ratnichkova, so she decided to go for it again and got Joy Sperry out of the College of Southern Idaho, and what a great outside hitter she's been this season for them.
Perry off the block.
Perry has been so impressive. I talked about the broken leg in high school. Ever since then, she's had overcompensation problems with her right leg after breaking that left leg, and it has been extremely painful for her all season. I'm really impressed by the way that she's carried a lot of load tonight.
Perry's serve carries about 8 feet past the end line. Good look there at Lee Mays, the interim head coach at Cal. Meyer. And Rouse tries to keep it alive, but hits it twice in a row. Goes back over to Cal. Perry to serve. Second on the team in kills, second on the team in digs, and had 5 aces against SC.
She's not accustomed to the float serve, though, but a combination of her leg and the very shallow area behind the sport court. You see there's only about 5 feet to work with. Jump servers need a little bit more room for that takeoff.
I think there's deep right corner on the serve. California a little bit sloppy with the passing right now. Oh, good look from Candace McNamee.
How about the veteran savvy from the freshman? McNamee already racked up 2 kills here in game 1. You never expect a setter to dump that far off the net. She's a good 10 feet back, but shows it very deceptive. Keeps her shoulders perpendicular to the net until the very last minute.
Cougs are on their heels, and they paid for it. Still, though, one serving 9 right now. And how's that ball find the floor? Kelly Meyer out of the back row, just with the dig, it sails across.
And that's a credit to the former coach, Sue Woodstra, an incredible defensive player in her time with the national team, the best defensive player in the world when she was playing, and she's really instilled that in this team.
Floater serve causes some problems. Violation, Washington State side of the nets. Point for Cal, and it's 3 serving 9. Crowd trying to pick up the Cougars a little bit. They've fallen asleep after a quick start, and that'll wake you up. Colleen Smith, 6'6".
And no, don't fix your TV screen. Yes, her hair is green. It's Halloween, and she's got glow-in-the-dark hairspray in her hair, and it's certainly helping her hit out as well.
Fingernails are also green. And it had to be an intimidating sight that last time. 6'6", off the block that time. Now Smith and Clevin, or Smith and Erickson up front, 6'6" and 6'4" for Washington State. So Alicia Perry's gonna have to think about that now.
And what a great rotation when you've got a 2-hitter situation with a setter who's traditionally the shorter player to have such a wall around you.
Alva at the nets. Alva just reached up and dunked it.
A little bit of ping pong action going on, back and forth, chicken wings, anything it takes to get the ball up.
McNamee to serve. Cal threatening to climb back into game 1. It's 4-9. Short set to Colleen Smith.
And that's just about all Colleen Smith had to do with the ball. When you're 6'6" and you set a 1, that's not a traditional 1. It's like anybody else's 2. You really need to get it up in the air so she can swing. And Washington State called, actually check that, Cal called for out of rotation. Candace McNamee, a back row player, left before the serve was touched. You see there she is in the upper right-hand corner. She has to stay behind Johansson. See her release. She can release once the ball's served.
Just a step too quick. Officials right on top of it. Makes it 10-4 now. Perry goes horizontal to keep that one off the deck. Colleen Smith to Erickson. They have to go in the tunnel to get it. Alva. It's 20 feet off the courts. Spink goes outside to Sperry.
And credit Samantha Spink for the kill. She did everything she could to get her hitters one-on-one, and that is a sign of a great setter. She jump set that ball and held the Cal middle blockers.
California wants to get a timeout. It is 11-4 right now.
Get up on out of your seats. Everybody have a minute. Get up. Get up. Stretch out a little bit.
Good look down the Washington State bench. And while we've seen when we were at Oregon State, a husband and wife, Jeff Bizzatti and his wife Marty, same kind of situation for Washington State.
Yeah, Cindy Frederick and her husband Farouk, the assistant.
A reminder for you, every night at 10 on Fox Sports Net, it is Fox Sports News Prime.
Right now, Washington State just 4 points away from game one. Right now is where they want to capitalize, not give up the ball after the side out, keep the serve in, and score a point on defense.
And on the flip side of things for California, and this is something that Lee Mays mentioned to us prior to the match, he said, you know, we have to keep the ball in play. We have to pass well, and we have to serve well.
And passing right there, that's the breakdown, the overpass, giving Alicia Erickson the kill. And Cal, normally a very good ball control team, needs to get better passing to target.
McNamee, the back set. She goes to Linda Johansson. The ball tip, too long. Point, Washington State. It's 13-4. Blackshire throws it up and then goes and gets it from the service line. Alva, out.
And that is the sign of being afraid of a huge block. That time, Kelly Alva did everything she could to not hit into the block. Well, the block's job is to take away the court, and that's what they did. They
get on their feet at Beasley. It's game points. Perry out of the back row. Tipped at the net, it falls.
And Perry with her 8th kill, hitting .429. What an amazing start in game one.
Linda Johansson now for the Bears. A long road back at 14-4 in game one. Colleen Smith just steps on top of one.
I am very impressed in the difference between last year and this year with Colleen Smith. Such quick footwork, especially on her approaches and her lateral movement to block.
Smith averaging just over 2 kills a game. Got one there. McNamee has come a long way to get it. Perry didn't have much choice on that one. Spink to Smith. Tipped. Perry, cross court again, and again side out California. Well, Perry's found one way to get around that big block up front for Washington State. Go cross court.
Yeah, and go to the tool chest. Really try and get out as many as you can. Go high shots, go off the hands, go roll shot. That time you see her turn her right wrist to get the sharp angle on it.
Sarah Waldman serving for Cal. Right down the line. Rouse decides to play it. Tipped by Alicia Erickson. Substitutions now. Kim Clevin in for Wazoo. In to serve. Serving for game one. It's 14-4. Crowd clapping in rhythm, but California once more staves off game point.
And you know that Alicia Perry is going to get the ball in crunch time. Anytime you're facing a game point, you know that McNamee is going to set Perry no matter where she is on the court.
Wendy Rouse.
That time with the step-in, we've seen so many different sets, and that's because Rouse and Smith have had a chance to play with Spink for 2 years, so they're running very sophisticated sets.
Joyce Berry now serving for the game for the 4th time for the Cougars. Back set, Meyer tips. And again, California stays alive. Well, they're showing some heart. Alicia Perry, just a sophomore. Great player already. Spink has to run and get that one, and just punishing one is Missy Blackshire.
And that's Blackshire's 3rd shot down the line. If you're Cal, you need to adjust. Get your right side blocker all the way out to the pin to stop that shot.
Smith to Spink, plotting, getting the crowd into it. Game point number 5. Johansson. Clevin was there. Blackshire for the game. Out. No touch, side out.
So Blackshire showing that she is a freshman. You can get a kill, but then that very next swing, you just might get an error. You never know.
She felt the surge of the crowd behind her. Spink the back set. Wendy Rouse.
And Washington State passing so well, that's really what's allowing them to run their offense. So what does Cal have to do but serve a little bit tougher?
Washington State serving for the 6th time on game point. Pass carries long. McNamee tips it across. Good play. She didn't have much choice. Again, McNamee's all over the court trying to get these passes. Alva pushes it into the back row. Blackshire. Ball's tipped and it falls. Game 1 to Washington State, 15-4. Now the Cougars are talking about stepping on the depleted Cal Bears early on, and they do it in game 1. Missy Blackshire, it's 15-4.
3 or more kills, so a lot of diversity. Samantha Spink really setting a distributed offense. You also look at the service aces, 2 for the Cougs, 0 for Cal, and that's really Cal's strength. But Brooke Coulter, one of their best servers, is on the bench. What Cal has to do here in game 2, block better and play some scrappier defense to really slow down the Washington State offensive machine.
Anytime the Cougs are in action, Butch is in the house. Bears trying to come together. It was ironic and a little bit humorous. Cindy Frederick walks by us as they exchange sides after game 1, and you make a comment that Cougs look pretty good after one game, and she just rolled her eyes at you. Coaches always see it a little bit differently than we do.
They're never quite satisfied. We see the glass is half full. She's looking at it as half empty. She just wants to get better and better and better.
Missy Blackshire, a freshman with the game face on. California, you know, with the injuries and the coaching changes, this is something that this team has come together. They've had to rely on one another and leaned within, because there's a lot of controversy, a lot of chaos surrounding this club right now.
Well, and in fact, unity is something that this team is stressing, because in fact, with the resignation of their coach came a split of the team. Some players were on one side of the fence, some were on the other. So once the decision finally came about, they really had to unify as a team and all come together for the good of this squad and really finish out the last 3 weeks of the Pac-10 season with some confidence.
And it's very tough to make that kind of break cleanly. You have to purge that pain, and sometimes it takes just a little while. California now to serve game 2. It's Candace McNamee, the freshman setter. California obviously has to pass much, much better in this game. And Wendy Rouse starting it off for Wazoo.
And how do you slow down this Wazoo offense? Well, I talked about it in game 1. You have to serve a little bit tougher. Cal trying to utilize a short serve to really stop the offensive patterns by Washington State, but it hasn't been effective so far.
Berry to serve now. Alva, tip.
The strategy with going with the short serve, we'll see if they do it again, is to really try and get in the way of any offensive patterns, especially for Washington State, who runs a lot of crossing patterns.
Spink takes it across early. Well, we saw McNamee do that same thing earlier on. You see Joyce Berry with that taped elbow. She has a sensitive nerve, and she says when she tapes it up, it doesn't hurt quite so bad. That's the hitting arm.
Sperry also recovering from an elbow surgery that she had at the end of last season on her ulnar nerve, so still trying to get it back to 100%.
Walton, the senior for Cal, and you can say that. The only senior in uniform. That's huge. Wendy Rouse, second on the team in kills, over 3 a game. Already with a couple here in game 2.
And the infamous X-play, and as often as they can, they'll try and run Rouse a lot of sets that typical right side players hit, because that's what she's used to, even though she's playing middle tonight.
Rouse already with 5 kills, a little more than a game. Spink goes back set, and a good block. California showing a little D.
And that's what it's going to take, and I have a sneaking suspicion that that's what Lee Mays was getting so upset with in between games 1 and 2. Really on his players for not putting up a solid block. You have to know who your 3 hitters are at all times and stay with them.
Sarah Waltman comes sliding in to keep that one alive. And a lift. That's Washington State. Point, California.
Yeah, you really need to get on top of that ball if you're going to dump it. She was underneath it a little bit, tended to carry it.
California with their first lead, 1-0. We're in game 2. Washington State took the lid lifter, 15-4.
And that's the kind of serve you want. Now Cal in a free ball situation.
Perry. That one hit the tape and then bounced over the block and falls.
And that entire point starts because of a tough serve. All Washington State had to do was get the ball over. They give Cal a free ball situation, and all of a sudden there's chaos on the Cougar side.
Alva Kimpleva now serving. California up 2-0. And wouldn't it be big for the Bears to steal a victory here in game 2 and get back into the match?
Well, we talked about the heated battles that these two teams have had. In fact, in the last 8 years, 7 matches have gone in 5 games, so you never know what to expect when these two hook up.
Cougs want to get a quick timeout. It's 2-0 Cal in game 2. Take one. Washington State had won 4 in a row, but has dropped 2 straight for UCLA and UW, so they want to get back on that winning side.
When you talk about that loss to UCLA, it came after the biggest win of the season. In fact, the biggest win for the program in a couple of years, when they upset USC on a Friday night, then boom, turn around and lose to UCLA. So you talk about the confusion in the youth, and that was a devastating loss. Here's some miscommunication and confusion. Ouch is right. Great job being aggressive, but not able to keep the ball.
Alicia Erickson, you know, they talked about that victory over SC. The 2 things that surprised me about that was, 1, it was 3-1, didn't even go 5, and 2, it was in Los Angeles.
Exactly, and that was the first time that Washington State had won in Los Angeles in, I think, about 8 years. So huge boost.
Samantha Spink with the roof on the far side.
What a great story Samantha Spink is. Went to Penn State, redshirted, then started her redshirt freshman year, but all of a sudden a player named Bonnie Bremner came in to set, took over the starting spot. So Spink said, hey, I want to go somewhere where I can play.
Meyer off the block of Joyce Berry.
Then last year, Spink, after being an understudy to Stephanie Papke, finally gets the starting role. And, you know, she's really playing like it. She's relishing that role this year.
Rena Partawala now in for Cal. Oh, that's huge. Alicia Erickson.
Checking into the game for the Cougars, number 16,
Kim Clevin now back in. The Washington State Cougars. They trail 1-2 in game 2, but they took game 1. Took easily. Partawala can't quite reach it. Set just out in front of her fingertips.
And Clevin, who had a career-high 13 digs against Cal earlier this season, already racked up 3 in this match.
Partawala, slide. And again, miscommunication. Somebody has to take control for Washington State. Usually it's the setter has to get that.
Well, actually, the setter really shouldn't be taking the first ball. The setter needs to stay and take the second ball if they can. That second ball is for the setter to step in and get, but I think a little confusion between perimeter and read defense on the Cougar side.
That's spanked. Basically just turns in a little hook shot all the way to the corner.
Pretty impressive that that ball goes down, very high trajectory, but what she does is takes a look at the defense and knows the open spots and knows that deep corners in that perimeter defense are wide open.
We're even at 2 in game 2, and that set just carries over a couple of hitters. Not sure who was intended for.
Very tough running the double quick because you don't have an outlet with the perfect pass.
Blackshire, but that one never gets across, hits the tape.
And Blackshire getting some very important playing time, especially for a freshman in such a high caliber program, getting to see more court time because of the injury to Jennifer Stinson.
She's not gun shy though.
No, I like it.
She's gonna crank it every time.
And she's really going after it, seeing a lot of balls, going after a lot of swings.
Do you give a freshman a little bit of a free rein if she's a hitter like that? You want her to gain that confidence?
Definitely, because she's the type of hitter that the more she swings at the ball, the more confidence she has. She may get a kill or an error, but right now she's got 5 kills, so she's carrying a good load for Cindy Frederick.
Another service error. Spinks service carries well past the inline. Waltman back into serve for Cal.
And watch her in the back row, so scrappy, so low to the ground, nothing gets fired.
Spink goes to Blackshire. That's a senior to a freshman.
And we've seen Blackshire hit in all attacking areas of the net, from pin to pin, from the left side to the right side and out of the middle.
Alicia Erickson back into the game, front row. And they have that big wall again, 6'6" Colleen Smith, and 6'4" Alicia Erickson. And there it is. And so Perry goes cross court, but out.
And that's a nice play. Right before that play, you could see Colleen Smith calling the blocking signal. Right now, she's got a 2-up, means she's taking angle. The last one, she had a 1-up, which means she took line and forced the hitting error.
Wendy Rouse with a service ace.
credit to Wendy Rouse. So tall. Normally the taller players at 6'3" don't get to play in the back row. Well, she and Smith and Erickson sometimes stay in the back court.
Colleen Smith. Cal made a mistake, and she made him pay for it.
Smith now 4 kills, hitting .333. That's a great hitting average for an outside hitter.
Alicia Erickson. I think Spink's doing a great job right now distributing the ball.
Yeah, it makes it impossible for the Cal blockers to commit to any one player. Sometimes if there's a hot hitter, you cheat a little bit, especially if you're a middle blocker, favor that side, but you can't do that against Washington State.
Not against Erickson and Smith, not with that size. Oh, that service almost there by Wendy Rouse, just clicks the tape.
And right now, Washington State on the 7-0 scoring run. Cal has to get it back, and right now by serving tough, a 3-person deep serve receive for Washington State.
Ellie Alva serving, trying to stop the hemorrhaging. Blackshire goes back left and out. That'll get a point up on the board for the Bears. 3 serving 7. Cougars took the opener, 15-4. Service error, Alva.
So right now, you know that the Washington State bench is calling the serving signal and saying, go after Alva. You always want to serve the person that just made the error. And they go to her corner.
Perry. Smith just backing up, tries to get the ball in the air. Miscommunication. Walton tries to come in and sliding under the net. I'm not sure if who that ball was intended for. Your guess is as good as ours. It's 8-3 in game 2. The Cougars. As far as Washington State is concerned, they want to get out of here in 3. They took the first one 15-4, and after trailing 2-0, have stormed back to an 8-3 advantage in game 2. And they're doing it completely at the net, both blocking and hitting. Right now, Washington State hitting .353 after hitting .400. Check that, 45%, and look at that, just 7% for Cal. 5 kills, 4 errors. And conversely, Washington State has 10 kills, so you need to have a little bit more offensive production. Blackshire now to serve for the Cougs. Washington State, a perfect 500 right now in the season. 5-5 in Pac10, 8-8 overall. So her hitting error. Side out now to Cal. Alicia Perry, who's had probably the best night of any of the Bears. Rouse out of the back row. Back row attack, such an advantage. If you have the type of hitters that can run that, you really have 5 offensive weapons at any time. When Rouse is in the back court, she can score just as easily as the front court. Johansson, that ball tipped at the net by Erickson. Spink. Alva sliding into the band. Good effort, but not quite good enough. And a great touch by Perry, and the follow by Alva. Spink in the front court right there. There's 2 blockers there, but nobody goes up on her. It seems like Perry's the only player in blue that knows that Spink is a front row player and can dump. Back set off the block.
Number 9, Alicia Perry.
If you're going to sit this close, you have to stay awake, don't you? And when tweener's on us. Perry picking up kill number 11, the only player on the court right now in double digits. 9-3 in game 2. And that one's going to carry wide. Erickson didn't get a lot of it, but put it in the right place. Erickson out, Clevin back in for Washington State. Clevin will serve. You look back now, the timeout that Cindy Frederick got down 0-2. Done wonders. They've won 9 of the next 10 points. You've got to wonder what she said. And I think ball control was a little bit of an issue early on in game 2. A couple of shanked passes, they weren't able to run their offense. The timeout really calmed them down. Better ball control since then. Maybe they lost their focus just a little bit. Coach Frederick got it back in that huddle. Washington State seems to just be finding all the right places right now. Even if the timing's a little bit off or it's a little bit chaotic, they are still finding a way to get the ball down against Cal. And ironically, that's exactly what Cal's game plan was going into this. They
didn't count on it being pretty, but they wanted to be consistent and keep the ball in play.
Kristen Johnson checks into the game for Washington State. Down the line, Johansson for Cal.
Johansson not showing very many signs of having that sore back that kept her out of the match against Sacramento State. Taking some good swings at the ball.
Right away, Washington State gets Johnson involved in the offense.
Well, Kristen Johnson, she's just a freshman, but she has had some good playing time, and she gets a great approach on this high 4 outside set. Good arm swing. Had a lot more playing time when Stinson went out. Came in initially at right side, has now moved to the left side.
Cross court, Perry.
Cougars in the net. Substitution for the Golden Bears, number 12, Sarah Waltman.
Sarah Waltman back in for the Bears. Senior will serve. Colleen Smith.
And that's a nice play. The double quick, the front run in front of the setter to Smith. The back one behind. Watch as it comes in. 2 people coming in. And once you're a blocker, that just splits the block, leaves somebody wide open. Replay called on that serve. Rouse back to serve. I don't think that he had blown the whistle, so a replay called. Rouse gets to serve again.
On that right side, Perry tips down the line. Spink was there, and now Spink asking for some help. Gets it, Colleen Smith, and then Spink takes it over.
Number 53,
Kelly Alva.
Alva picking up her 5th kill on the night, hitting 182. Really want to be up above 200 if you're a right side player or on the outside.
That pass carries right on the tape. California tips it back to the Washington State side. Meyer. I don't think that ball was blocked as much as it hit the net and then falls. Point California.
Yeah, sometimes the balls that go off the tape are actually harder to dig than the clean cut balls because you expect it to come right at you, and then all of a sudden it's slowed down and takes a different direction than it initially was going to.
One of the few breaks California's gotten, and there's Spink just a little dumb. Flat-footed tip.
Samantha Spink actually second on her team with hitting percentage, hitting .295 on the season. You can see why right now. Has 5 kills and 0 errors. Never fails. One setter dumps, the other one always has to.
Not that time. Right in the middle, Kelly Meyer.
Kelly Meyer.
Early on, sidelined with a back injury, came on through the middle of the Pac-10 season, and it's a good thing, too, for this Cal squad. They desperately need her in the middle's position.
Alicia Perry, and that serve barely got to the net. Just a miss hit. Service error, sign out to Washington State. Colleen Smith now the 6'6" sophomore. And the crowd getting a little impatient. They want to see a run right here. 9-4 Washington State. They want to close this game out in a hurry. Johansson. Between the blockers, it falls.
Johansson's taking a page out of the Carrie Walsh playbook. You know, Carrie Walsh has struggled with a shoulder injury all season long, so she takes the heat off the ball, but she's still getting the kills that she needs. Johansson really doing the same thing because of the back injury, not getting the heat that she needs, but getting the kills anyway.
Pardawala in the middle.
We'll talk about Carrie Walsh, Pac-10 Player of the Week, helped Stanford in wins over Ulke. 3 wins last week and still not 100%. She's in the top of nearly every category in the Pac-10. Hard to believe.
Anytime Carrie Walsh is named Pac-10 Player of the Week, it's almost a no-brainer. You could almost do it each week. Her stats are that good. And that's not to say there's not a lot of great talent in this conference, but plays at a different level. Here's your joust.
Spink, last one to touch it, always wins. Even though she's at a height disadvantage, she gets the score.
9-5 Washington State, game 2. Johansson. Back corner too long. Point Cougars, it's 10-5. Washington State's playing with a little sense of urgency tonight. I think they talked about 3 and out, or at least a short night, maybe 4 games. They know they had an advantage coming in. California, besides the coaching change and the injuries, quite an adventure just getting from the Bay Area up to the Palouse.
Just miserable. It all starts out with a phone call from the Oakland airport finding out that they don't have Brooke Coulter. Then they find out they don't have tickets. They're not ticketed to a flight to Pullman. Their luggage ends up going to Pullman. They go to Spokane. They arrive in Spokane. No vans are there. They have no way to make the hour-and-a-half drive. So what does Lee Mays do? He calls a taxi company. Gets 3 taxis to come and shuttle the team all the way from Spokane to Pullman. So it was just a nightmare day of travel.
And any folks that are at home saying, oh, Spokane to Pullman, it can't be that far. Obviously, they've never made the drive.
Especially in inclement weather. It's never easy.
It's a beautiful drive, though, through the Palouse. Rolling wheat fields, and of course, Pullman is the lentil capital of the world.
Don't you forget it.
Never. Rouse in the middle, Alba able to keep it alive. That's Alicia Perry. And again, looked like had one just land in the palm. She's frustrated.
Yeah, well, Perry has had troubles with her leg all day, all week, all year long. In fact, had to go today and buy a new pair of shoes, hoping that that would help, whatever it takes, right?
You start buying new shoes, it's a mental game.
Yeah, well, when you look at Perry's leg, a lot of it stemmed from the ankle problems and not enough arch support. So they ran to a Foot Locker in Moscow. They couldn't find one in Pullman, so they drive to Moscow today, the coaching staff and Alicia Perry, to buy a new pair of shoes. And don't forget, that's in Moscow, Idaho, not even the same state, only 10 minutes away, though.
Sister City. Back to me with the dig, back row. Perry, too high. Perry's frustrated right now, and you can see you have a leg injury, especially in a sport like volleyball, that's going to affect the rest of your game.
Well, she's the type of player that knows that she has to play through the pain because there's nobody to play front row for her if she goes out. She came out against Sac State. She started the match, gave it a try, but just couldn't last. So you know that she's got to be battling a lot of mental toughness out there right now.
And Meyer with some similar problems. That ball never gets across. Cougs had the wall built, but it wasn't needed. It's 11-5 Washington State in game 2. Perry. That ball never gets across. Cougs had the wall built, but it wasn't needed. It's 11-5 Washington State in game 2. Perry. Turned right back. Erickson and Smith, and that's the wall that we're going to be calling for a couple of years. Smith, the sophomore, Erickson, the freshman. Well, the crowd here on Dad's Weekend at Washington State, anxious for a quick victory. Here's a reminder for you, weeknights at 6 and midnight, it is The Last Word. Jim
Not tonight.
Well, that's the way the Pac-10 has been all year. The only team that hasn't been beaten, of course, is Stanford.
And a big reason that Stanford hasn't been beat, Carrie Walsh, the phenom junior, playing at about 80% with her shoulder. Just amazing in wins over UOP. Recorded her 5th triple-double of the season and Pac-10 Player of the Year for the 5th time in her career, making her just the 5th player in Pac-10 history to earn the honor 5 times or more.
You measure great players with double-doubles. You measure Carrie Walsh with triple-doubles.
Yeah, the double-double just came out of my mouth, and I didn't even think it was a triple-double.
Of course, Walsh has been playing hurt all year long. Back to me to Alba. That's Pink. Yeah, hit it twice. Clicked off both hands right at the net. The pass in her defense carried right up near the tape. She had to go get it. 12-5 Washington State in game 2. Pink. Back set to Johnson.
Every time Cal makes a great serve and forces Washington State into a predictable offense, they get the block or the dig for the point or the side out. That has to be the key right now for Lee Mays. Serve tough.
Waltman with the dig. McNamee with the kill.
McNamee has been very aggressive in this game. I like it on the tight set. She has the height and the leaping ability to get up and over and beat the block.
California now with a little mini run. It's 7 serving 12, but this is what happened in game 1. They dug themselves a hole that turned out to be much too deep. Ended up losing that one 15-4. tip, side out.
Well, the middle of the court in this perimeter defense that Cal is playing is very vulnerable. The wings have to be very quick to see the open hand on the tip and react to it.
Samantha Spink with a little smile there. McNamee tries to tip it across, but a good read by Alicia Erickson.
Erickson and Sperry were both at that time realizing two hitters. So if there's a two-hitter situation, that left front player has the setter. So anytime she jumps, the blocker jumps.
13-7 Cougars. Tough pass for California, but they luck out of it.
Yeah, boy, that was just a gift to Colleen Smith at 6'6" and an overpass. You're just supposed to jam that right down your opponent's throat. Sometimes you get a little bit too eager, though.
McNamee on the slide to Meyer. Back row Rouse. Back row for California. Our best rally of the game. Ball tips. And Alva again, her second save of the point. Seen some good back row defense. Colleen Smith, ball tipped at the net. McNamee goes wide to Johansson. That ball's tipped at the net. And down the line goes Sperry and long. Point California.
What great transition defense, especially on the side of the Cal Bears. Defense turning into some great offense, and that's what it takes to be a very successful team. Keep the ball in play.
Perry having the best night of any of the Bears, 13 kills. Rouse. And Waltman was there, but it was just too hot. Side out.
And Rouse now entering double digits. Both Rouse and Erickson with 10 kills apiece to lead the coup.
Colleen Smith to serve. On a great read by Alicia Erickson, and then she cuts it to the right. Leaves him with a game point. It is 14-8.
Nice anticipation, just beats Cal to the ball.
Service error, California, get it back. They keep that alive, and Erickson had a second look at it. And that's a point I think Erickson thought she already had in her pocket.
Oh, are you kidding? About 3 Washington State players already had both fists in the air celebrating that play.
Spink goes to the knee. And over again, out of the back row.
And that play right there, a very sensitive subject for Washington State. Miscommunication with a back row attack or a front row attack. That's exactly how Jennifer Stinson dislocated her ankle out of the back row.
California making it interesting. It's 10-14. Rouse out of the back row. Partawalla tips and controls the net to McNamee. And here come the Bears.
And what a heads-up play by McNamee, turning herself into an attacker, realizing that the Washington State defense wasn't set.
There's some concern on the Washington State bench, perhaps for the first time tonight. At least the first real concern. Sperry. Perry with the dig. Perry again. Not 3 in a row.
And Erickson just patrolling the net, pin to pin. It's not going by her.
Tough point for California to give up. He could have pulled within 2, and now it's game point again. Kim Clevin. Here come the Beasley Fanatics. The fake to Partawalla. They go to Perry. It's off the hands of Johnson and up into the stands.
And Washington State has to realize that they're going to go to Perry. Anytime Cal has a game point situation, you need to camp out, get 2 blockers up on Perry every single time.
Substitutions. Missy Blackshire has been out most of game 2.
And Johnson did a great job coming in, playing very solid front row, taking a lot of swings at the ball.
Sperry. Great dig. Perry off Sperry. Johansson. Now California played some great defense, but Washington State's offense just a little bit better. And once again, it's game point.
You have to appreciate these Beasley fans cheering on the Cal dig. They appreciate good volleyball.
Yeah, pretty savvy, and they love volleyball. It's a fun place to do a match, and it's got to be great to play here as well. Johansson, cross court, ball kept alive, and a lift. You're going to get, I think, Blackshire for the lift.
Well, it looked like it should have been a lift, but it came out surprisingly clean. Just basically coming right at you. All she could do was get her hands up, but that floated out of her hands. She liked it.
And the wrong time for a service error, and yeah, there's really not a good time for one, but
good point.
You don't want to give it away. Samantha Spink, the setter, serving for the game. California's played very tough on game points. And they get it back again. Side out, substitutions, Waltman in. California very fortunate there, took a little chance. Turned out all right. See Blackshire, the freshman. California able to get a couple of points in a row here, and it's going to get tight on the Washington State side of the net. Ball hit the deck. He touched the floor. Colleen Smith gets credit for the kill. Now Wendy Rouse will serve for the game. This is game point number 5.
And a very strong scoring rotation for the Cougs with Erickson and Smith blocking.
McNamee goes back to Perry. And it's blocked and put down. Erickson and Smith. 15-11. And Washington State had to go the distance to earn that one. 5 game points. They lead 2-0. We're back at Beasley.
Pac-10 women's basketball is on top. And we plan to stay there. Look at this. One of the most competitive leagues in the nation, every Pac-10 institution has seen NCAA tournament play at least once in the 90s. And this year, with some of the country's best athletes and greatest coaches, the Pac-10 promises to stay on top. For the best in women's basketball, watch the Pac-10, the Conference of Champions.
You've spent your entire life sleeping in an old-fashioned flat bed, but now you have the opportunity.
They turn out, they support their athletic teams here at Washington State very well. There's a great crowd here, and normally they don't play here. They play across campus over at Boulder, but they're having a good night. 15-4 and 15-11. Jim Watson back with Heather Cox. And Heather not only making noise and enjoying themselves tonight, but of course, since it is Halloween Eve,
hey, there's Madeline.
Costumes.
I like it. We've got a Madeline, an M&M, a Mummy. Such creativity, and I bet she wants to be a fireman when she grows up.
A good slice of Americana when you come out to Pullman, Washington, the town, only about 25,000, and it really is truly a college town. And you don't find a lot of that in the Pac-10. Of course, some of the other schools are in the big cities, but truly, it is a family town. Washington State, it's always fun coming out here, and we enjoy it. All right, let's talk a little bit about the match so far. Impressed with Washington State up and down the lineup, but that big front line of Erickson and Smith, my goodness, 6'4" and 6'6". How do you counter it?
It's impossible right now with the lack of depth and height that Cal has. Washington State has always been known as a very big, strong, physical team at the net, and because of that, they've always been rewarded by being in or close to the nation's top 25. And you see the Pac-10, Washington State's been in the NCAA tournament the last 6 years consecutive, and you can see why. Cindy Frederick's doing a great job with the squad. One of the things we've had a chance to do at this time each week on our Game of the Week is take a look at the rest of the country. Normally the Pac-10 dominates, at least in the top 25. But it's not so this year. Things are spread out. Yeah, the latest poll has a familiar look at the top. 11 of the top 15 teams maintain their position, led by the top 3 of Long Beach State, Penn State, and Nebraska. BYU played a near-perfect match and swept number 7 UCSB, and BYU won its 15th consecutive match. There's Stanford at number 5. They have won a conference record 36 straight, and UCSB continues to be without their middle blocker, Katie Crawford. They dropped a little bit because of that. Wisconsin dropped as well after a loss. Then you look at 11 through 22 Pac-10 teams, USC and Arizona, but a huge upset that we just heard about, Oregon over Arizona. They certainly will fall. Number 16 is their highest rank. of the season. And Michigan State moved up 3 spots after a huge upset win over number 5 Wisconsin. In that match, Jenna Roble became the all-time career leader. Then you look 23 UCLA playing the best volleyball of the season, and Colorado State stretched its winning streak to 13 consecutive matches and entered the nation's top 25 this week for the first time all season.
You notice Stanford is at number 5, and some think they might be better than that among the nation's best, but there's so many good teams right in front of them with the Long Beach States and the Penn States.
And the undefeateds, too.
And, of course, Stanford is the 2-time defending national champion. Not shot, another good grip. We're back at Beasley. More to come on the Fox Sports Net Game of the Week.
The players on our team now have overcome those adversities that they had to deal with, and certainly the circumstances. And right now they've become, they've been very supportive themselves, and now they have to understand that to go out there, it's a united effort. Everybody has to be able to support themselves. Everybody has to be responsible for a lot of their own actions, and whatever outcome occurs, win or lose, it's going to be a lot of it based upon how they play, more so than anything else.
You know, so often when there's a coaching change, it can either gut or galvanize the team, and Lee Mays says that it has brought his unit closer together. They're much stronger. Take another timeout. We're coming back on campus. It's the Fox Sports Net Game of the Week. Out of here in a hurry, that's Cindy Frederick, the head coach. She's standing by with our Heather.
Has 4 fewer than Washington State, but the hitting errors, that's where the difference lies. 20 hitting errors for Cal. That's because of their 24% hittage percent. And then digs, you always expect Cal to out-dig, but Washington State is hanging in with 30 digs of their own.
What does California do? What does Lee Mays tell the Golden Bears right now? They go back to Alicia Perry. She's the one that's been finding the most success. Do you try to get anyone else involved? Or maybe go back to number 9?
I think you try and run the middle a little bit more. Get it to Alva a little bit more. She's been very effective in the middle. Also, you have to put up a block in the middle against Washington State. Alicia Erickson right now has a new career high with 12 kills going into game 3. Her previous high was 10, so she's having a hot night. Cal blockers need to communicate and need to get up quick in the middle.
15-4, 15-11. Those are your scores from the first 2 games. And now Washington State a chance to run the table here and get out in 3. We begin play in game 3. Johansson, wicked cross-court cut. Didn't have a lot on it. Perry, great dig on the back row. Alva. Strong opening point for both sides. And Wendy Rouse gets a break. Just in the back line, side out California.
Right now is when Cal needs to feel it, needs to get a little bit of momentum. They've started slow in both the first 2 games, so if they can serve tough and pick up a quick couple of points, they'll help them in game 3.
Rouse goes on the slide, but that ball just wide, so point California. 1-1 in game 3. Johansson to serve. There's Sping. Well, you talked about her high hitting percentage, and it's because she knows when to pick her spots.
Well, and as any good setter, she's really a student of the game, and she sees the block and sees the defense. Very deceptive, brings both hands up to show the set, and then at the last minute dumps with the left hand.
Here's Barry, the junior, serving. Perry.
And that really has to be the primary game plan for Cal, to go to Perry as often as possible. Prior to Coulter being out, they wanted to channel the ball to Coulter. So who's going to pick up the slack but Alicia Perry? So every time they can, they want to get the ball to her, but it needs to be quick and it needs to be deceptive so she gets some one-on-one opportunities.
Perry was hot early on, and the only person that stopped Perry has been Perry in that injured right leg. I don't think Washington State has done a lot to deter her.
No, and they'd like to in this game 3. You heard Cindy Frederick talk about taking away the angle a little bit more. That's Perry's bread and butter. Conversely, they want to take away the line on the slide attack from the middle blockers.
Samantha Spink. Washington State with a 2-1 advantage. That ball comes right back. Spink's set carries into the net, trying to go to Rouse in the middle.
That's a tough set. You're 10 feet off the net. It's a push set. The timing has to be perfect or there's no chance that ball's clearing the net.
Alva, deep serve. Rouse. Perry gets a piece of it. Can't keep it alive. Side out, Washington State.
Rouse now 13 kills. Erickson and Rouse combining for 26 kills right now. They have been a great duo. You can never figure out who it's going to.
McNamee to Meyer.
Number 15, Kelly Meyer, side out for California.
You see a little bit of a lineup change for Cindy Frederick in game 3. Lucy Vratnichkova in, playing the right side position right now.
Rouse out of the back row and right into the net. Got on top of that one. 2-1 Cal. Game 3. Cougars have taken the first 2. There's Vratnichkova. Anathan had an easy put down for Erickson.
And a great dig by Sarah Waltman in the back row. Number 12 right there put up a super dig. There was no block up, and she just dug deep. Look at this, no one up to block her, and she gets the great dig, but transition has been a problem for Cal, converting the defensive digs into some offensive kills.
Service error for Washington State. Pardawala now back in for California. Kelly Meyer to serve. Little floater up front. Cougars gonna have to give it up. McNamee goes across quickly. And miscommunication. A little bumping on the Washington State side of the net as well. California 3-1 in game 3. You had to wonder how they were going to respond. Losing a tough game 2. Not laying down. That ball's in. Drilled by Joy Sperry.
Everybody on the Cal bench, off of the bench, on their feet. Lee Mason, that was a good 6 inches out.
He appeals to the officials, but...
And in fact, still appealing.
Yeah, no sympathy there. Pardawala never gets across, 4 hits. Almost whiffed on it.
Pardawala has been quiet. In fact, I think she's a player that needs to get more involved in this match. Has 4 kills, but 3 hitting errors and not enough swings.
McNamee to Pardawala off the block, side out California. Well, Pardawala and McNamee have worked well at times together. But here in game 3, the timing just not quite right, not yet. And now the home folks pick up the Go Cougs chant. If you've ever been to the Palouse, you leave with that ringing in your ears.
And in Beasley, there are just as many people here, but it's not as compact, not as intimate as Bowler, so maybe not as loud. You know, Bowler Gym was one of the most feared houses in the Pac-10 to visit. And I think you lose a little bit of that home court advantage here.
Yeah, this more a traditional arena. This is where they play basketball, and we're playing kind of crossways here at one end of the arena. Bowler Gym, very old, 70, 80 years old here on campus. It is noisy, it smells like an old building, and it gets very loud when the students pack it to the rafters.
In fact, Cindy Frederick said she knew it was a bad sign when she heard people around the Pac-10 saying, I like playing in Beasley. That's exactly what she doesn't want to hear, and in fact is appealing to her athletic director, Rick Dixon, to send them back to Bowler when it's finished with reconstruction. She wants to play there in the future.
But of course, when they do, they'll take a piece of Beasley with them. This court's going to go back into Bowler.
Right, in fact, this court, a sport court, a great new surface to play volleyball on, was made for the national championship last year, played in Spokane, hosted by Washington State. This court was there on which Stanford won. They brought it in from Spokane here, knowing that they were going to play in Beasley and needed a new surface.
Did they repaint it?
No, actually, that's the way it was painted because Washington State was the host school.
Scarlet and gray. Alva in the middle. Substitution, Waltman back in, Pardawala out for California. Bears playing their best game so far, up 4-2.
You have to think Stanford probably likes coming up to play in Beasley now, because this is the exact same floor they won a national championship on last year over Penn State.
Stanford will be in over the weekend. It's a great weekend here at Washington State. It's Dad's weekend, and the football team plays Arizona State just across campus tomorrow. Tonight, it's all volleyball, and so far it's been all Washington State. They lead 2-0, but trail in Game 3. Hopping on that 1 foot, that's Jennifer Stinson, arguably their best player, leads Washington State in kills, but dislocated that left ankle in practice about 8 days ago, and they're going to reevaluate it, but going to be gone for quite a while.
And there's a look at the other injured player on the other side of the bench, Brooke Coulter, leading her team in kills, aces, digs, just a huge impact. Stress fracture in the shin, doesn't look like she'll return. Just 3 weeks remaining in the Pac-10 season.
And they just found out about that one.
Yeah, in the airport, coming up here to play last night, so she is just devastated, was icing down, really trying to treat the symptoms before the match.
Coulter not the only injury for California. Of course, Jamaica Stevens is also out of the lineup.
In fact, a player that led the team in kills, 3.5 kills per game, a transfer from Hawaii, was a great addition to Cal's squad and just struggled with shoulder trouble all season long, having an MRI later this week, and will probably have surgery within the next 2 weeks.
Score 5-2 here in Game 3. Alicia Perry runs up on that one, but has to wait for it. Just forced to take it across. There's that push. We've seen that once before from Meyer tonight. That ball catches the tape and kept alive. Waltman doing some great defensive work in the back row, keeps it alive and earns the point for the Bears.
And the difference was that time transition earns the side out for the Bears. A great dig by Waltman. And you'll also notice Perry, you said she had to run under that ball. I think Perry's trying to limit her jumps. If she doesn't have the perfect look at the ball, she's going to stay flat-footed, a lot like a pitcher trying to limit his pitch count.
Blackshire and McNamee went up together, and the ball just kind of fell on the Cal side of the net.
Yeah, just a misread by Candace McNamee. Thought it was going over.
Yeah, Mays, the Cal coach right behind us, he's yelling at his center. McNamee, you just lost sight of the ball. You didn't know where it was. Took her eye off it, perhaps. Service ace. And you see how quickly Washington State jumps on an opportunity.
And it's not very often that you see Cal get such a good passing team, but this time just goes deep corners and really catches Alicia Perry off guard. 4 service aces now for the Cougs.
McNamee back set to Meyer on the slide. Spake back set to Smith. That ball going to carry too far. And right there, Alicia Erickson. She's had about 3 or 4 of those tonight.
And 2 quick points back-to-back by the Cougs at the net. Just stronger because they're taller and have more penetration. They're up there longer. That time, no Cal player able to get up and beat Erickson.
For California, if you see 6'4" on the other side of the net, the last thing you want to do is overpass.
Perry getting the side out again, this time 17 kills.
Blackshire, that one went off her fingertips. Back to Erickson in the middle. Meyer in the middle. Meyer keeps it alive. Waltman and Johansson. Mouse is there. Colleen Smith.
I cannot tell you how impressed I am with Colleen Smith. The difference between last year and this year is night and day. Just her quickness, her confidence level, and a much more aggressive player.
That's a great serve by Blackshire.
Alicia Erickson once again, career high night. A big block at the net.
It all starts with the serve.
And the jumper by Blackshire, the key to passing a good jumper, it's a lot like an attack at the net. In fact, easy to pass if you get under it, which is exactly what Waltman did.
And some more miscommunication for Washington State. If there is a knock on the Cougars, that would be it tonight.
Yeah, they've definitely had a lot of dropped balls in between 2 or 3 players. They just need to talk. Talking so important in volleyball.
And you see the patience, Cindy Frederick on the bench, talking to what amounts to a very young squad.
And that's just the first ace of the season, or excuse me, the match for Cal, and that's a huge boost as this match is suddenly tied up.
Bing. That ball was tipped at the net. Sperry gets it to fall. Side out for the Cougs. Perry. Push. Again, comes out a little paintbrush at the net, but I don't know if it was intended.
Well, is fighting hard at the net, doing a very nice job getting off the net in transition to get herself a good approach. You can see the frustration that time, gets the paintbrush, just doesn't get the height she needed against Erickson.
Washington State goes in front 7-6. This is a game that California has led and controlled for the most part in the early stages. Sperry, never across, 4 hits to side out California. Oh, we get a good chance here to see what this California team has down deep. They have had so much adversity. They have the new coach, Lee Mays. They've had the injuries. They've had the travel problems. Everything is against this team, yet here they are battling down 0-2, but they're still in their fight.
So mentally tough, and I'm so impressed with Alicia Perry and her ability to really carry the responsibility on her shoulders. You can see she's heavily favoring her right leg. It's bothering her. The more jumps, the more attacks she's getting, the more I see her favoring it. But she's fighting hard. You can see her spirit, and she's not giving up.
Floater. Bink to Sperry. Point California. No touch. And check all the way around, no touch. 8-7, California climbs back in front. The Bears showing a lot of heart. We come back to Beasley.
Which is 1.7 aces per game, and that's because they're missing Brooke Coulter, who leads the Pac-10 in aces per game, and the team has 55 aces on the season with a great jump serve, and you can tell that she is sorely missed tonight.
Coulter, the captain, out with a stress fracture.
And just how good is Cal's serving team? They had 14 aces against USC a few weeks ago.
Johansson off the block. Erickson and Smith, and now getting some help from Sperry, playing so tough for Washington State up front. California's got to be scratching their heads.
And Spink now, 8 kills. Don't forget, she's a setter. The fans at Beasley are loving it. She jump sets. Somebody has to go up with her. The left front player in that situation, Kelly Alva, has to block Spink when she's in the front row.
Chance now to tie for Washington State. McNamee to Partawala. Goes off the hands of Kim Clevin on the back row, side out Bears.
Partawala gets the touch that time, decides to go deep instead of having the chance of getting blocked by going tight.
Rouse.
The hang time and the deception. First, it looks like Rouse is going to hit a 31 attack. It's about 3 feet away from the setter, but then with a quick step in, she hits the 1, and that's impossible for the Cal blockers to spot.
Alva goes off the tape. Never gets across. Point Washington State. That's your equalizer. We're tied at 8.
And suddenly, the last time out, Washington State was hitting 200. All of a sudden, now they're hitting 242. They've surpassed Cal. And that was the difference. Cal was out hitting this team, and that's why they were winning in this third game.
Back to Alva again. Alva has trouble getting all the way across. Blackshire. Perry reaches out. This ball is going to carry into the crowd. Nice catch.
Thank you.
You still have it.
Seen better hands on a clock, huh?
Perry. Partawala waits for McNamee, and finally the setter gets underneath it. Perry again.
A nice option by Rouse that time.
Alicia Perry is keeping these rallies alive for California, but somebody needs to help and get some points. Washington State has stormed back in front, 10-8. They can see the finish line from here.
Rouse picking up kill number 17 on the auction. Instead of setting it, decides to attack, but goes with the soft roll shot right over the Cal Bear block.
Partawala and McNamee, I mentioned their timing off just a little bit up front. You saw some of that there. As Perry coming in trying to help out. Can't do it alone. And predecessor.
Back he talked about what a great opportunity. As much as it has been a season full of adversity, Lee Mays has to look at this as a great opportunity. He's interim head coach, but he will apply for that full-time position at season's end.
Wendy Rouse, 16 kills. She's had a lot of offense before, 21 kills in that big upset of SC. And you know that Samantha Spink always knows where number 6 is. Perry goes one-on-one with Spink. The 2 nines meet at the tape. Alicia Perry gets the better of it that time.
And now Perry with 18 kills has tied her career high, 18 against UCI in the beginning of the season, September 3rd. One more kill, and she breaks her mark.
Waltman, Clevin was standing on the back line when she played that ball. Would have been close. California down 1. Waltman a chance to tie. Wide.
Cal in a good side out rotation. 3 hitters. Candace McNamee, a back row player.
McNamee to Meyer. Meyer puts it down.
Number 15, Meyer.
And Kelly Meyer also working on a career night. 11 kills, ties her 11-kill career night against USC. So a lot of offense, more offense, in fact, than the Bears are accustomed to. They just haven't been able to slow down the Cougar offense.
Wendy Rouse.
Kate's in point. How do you slow down Rouse? You never know where she's going to be on the court. She's playing middle blocker, but she's accustomed to hitting off the right side of the court, so that time goes for the swing, goes right through the seam of the block.
Good look at her athleticism there. She comes off the slide, almost like a runner in basketball. Off the 1 foot.
Yeah, a lot like her teammate, Jennifer Stinson, who, if she recovers from that dislocated ankle, will play basketball for the Lady Cougs this season.
Blackshire. And that's Meyer for Cal, and Meyer's starting to heat up.
Career night now, 12 kills for Kelly Meyer, who missed the beginning of the season with a back injury, has come in playing her best volleyball of her career.
It's 10-10 in game 3. Colleen Smith, and Perry's there. Johansson over the big block of Washington State, the 6'4", 6'6".
Hey, if I'm hitting against that block, I'm going to do a roll shot too. Not a whole lot else you can do. If there's no seam in that block, you have to tip up and over the block or hit very sharp inside it.
Back to me to Meyer, and just a little too tall. Cougs go in front, 11-10.
Great serving rotation for scoring points. The jumper by Blackshire and a very intimidating block at the net.
Blackshire, after she takes that one a little too far, very intense, slapping hands and punishing herself. A little bit angry, a little bit upset. Joyce Sperry between the block.
I talked about the fact that she's a JC transfer, but not just any JC. Came from the College of Southern Idaho, national JC champs. Catch this, 93 through 97. A dynasty there.
McNamee twice. Partawala back to McNamee.
Who's going to hit it?
Johansson. Nice placement.
He's going for that roll shot, the Kerry Warrosh roll shot. And we have just got a case of the giggles here because the entire Cal bench is laughing over that last play. Who's going to hit it, Partawala or McNamee? At least they've got a good sense of humor, right?
Oh, when things are going against it like it has for the Bears, you have to laugh. Just keep your sanity. Sperry.
Boy, Sperry talking to her at the beginning of the season, she said the biggest adjustment from the JC game to the college game, especially the Pac-10 college game, is the block, but so far showing no signs of being hampered by the block.
Clevin. Crowd picks up the chant again. Johansson with the tip. California, good opportunity here. Nice fake in the middle, and they go to Alva.
And that's exactly what this team needs to continue to do. A great delivery by Candace McNamee on the double quick attack. You see Alva coming in from behind, Perry Hardawalla from the front, and one-on-one, that's going to be a kill.
Sperry, for the first time, gets turned back in this game. Sperry again, turned back a second time. Hardawalla and Alva very tough on that side, but Wendy Rouse says enough is enough. Service error by Sperry. You don't see a lot of JC transfers that make the transition to D1 and produce and be a dominant player.
Yeah, it's such credit to the college program and the coach at the College of Southern Idaho. Also, Lucy Vratnichkova, Jefferson College transfer. Something rare for Cindy Frederick because it is so hard to transition, especially into the Pac-10 conference.
Meyer gets the side out for California. Waltman to serve. California has impressed me, at least that they showed up tonight.
And they don't give up. Every time match point is near or game point is near, they fight to the very end.
Yeah, if any team had an excuse to mail one in, it was the California Bears, but here they are in game 3, 11-11.
And in fact, Cal was even wondering, with so few people available for this match, just 8 dressed, if Perry wasn't able to go 100%, which she certainly has, even though she's favoring that leg, she's putting up the numbers. But if Perry couldn't go and Johansson's back started to bother her, they would have had to forfeit. Anytime you go below 6 in the collegiate game, you immediately have to forfeit, unlike high school, where you can play with as many people as you have.
Blackshire the tip. Waltman, another good save. She must have 5 or 6. Blackshire, ball blocked. Alva can't get to it.
Good look at Mays, who is moonlighting. Also the head men's coach for the club team at Cal, national club champions last year.
Good save by Spink. Playing that ball out of the net, that's just how they teach them. Meyer fires a blank. Good save by Spink here. Ball rolls right into the net, and she lifts it right back up. Saves the point. Perry had to run around McNamee, who was laying right underneath her feet. Perry never had a chance at that one. Step around a teammate.
And you've got to love it. Lee Mays off the bench, cheering on from the sideline. Such an active coach. You can tell he's been a player and a coach in the junior and high school ranks for a long time. Just continues to coach from the sideline.
California chance to tie, but that chance is quickly gone as Colleen Smith hammers one down.
Well, I've talked about her improvement over the summer. A lot has to do with the fact that she spent the summer in Colorado Springs training with the U.S. National Training Program, and you can see it shows in the quickness and the versatility.
See if they go back to Smith. They do. Oh, a great dig by Waltman. Waltman gets it back row.
Love it. The GS taking a swing.
She earned it. Sperry.
You know what, though? You can't say enough about Sarah Waltman. So impressed, actually honored with the Golden Bear Award the last 2 years for the top GPA among all volleyball players. She's graduated in December with a degree in architecture, and she's just all over the place.
13-11 as Washington State gets the point. You look into the Cal huddle, and it's been a bonding experience for this team the last couple of weeks. Of course, the coach resigns October 2nd. Sue Woodstra and Lee Mays, one of the assistants, takes over. They've had the injuries. They've had all kinds of problems up and down. And there they are, still taking their shots. They're still fighting in this match, and they're laughing through the whole thing. They're having a good time.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that they're on the road in a very hostile environment under adverse situations and circumstances, and they're going after it. And credit Sarah Waltman and Alicia Perry, Candace McNamee. They have got the will to win, and they're not giving up.
Good look there at Beasley. Is this one of the harder places to play in the country? We know it is in the Pac-10.
Bowler, I say yes. Beasley, I'm not so sure. Not quite as intimate, not quite as loud, not rocking. One of the toughest places to travel to, though, and that really helps with the home court advantage because it's a tough road trip. You go here, and then you go to Seattle, and it's a long weekend. But I'm with Cindy Frederick in the fact that they want to get back to Bowler. It's a place that is very hard to win in.
I like when you come to the Northwest and you see the old buildings, Mac Court down at Oregon, and at Corvallis, Gill Coliseum. Heck, Edmondson at Washington.
A lot of tradition.
Bowler, yeah, it's an advantage. A service ace for Wendy Rouse. Well, why not? Excuse me, it's Blackshire. And Blackshire now with match point. He's going to do a good thing here. He's going to go to the bench to slow things down. Banatow comes in. Tyler Banatow, the freshman, number 5 for California, but Blackshire now for the match. Johansson off the block, and it falls. Washington State gets the sweep. 15-4, 15-11, 15-11.
Washington State bouncing back after a huge win against USC, then 2 losses against UCLA and Washington. A huge confidence boost and a very tough, powerful team at the net.
And if anything, it was good timing for Cindy Frederick and the Cougars to run into California at this point of the game because they needed a victory. They had 4 in a row, then they'd lost 2. They lost a good player in Stinson. It's good timing. It's good victory for them.
Especially when you consider who's coming up next. Well, the Cardinal are coming to town. They'll play on Sunday.
The 2-time defending national champions will come down the road, be in Pullman on Sunday. We'll come back, wrap things up at Beasley in Pullman.